Hey, and welcome. It's time for that update on the worm bins. After I got back from my week-long trip, enjoy the view of Idaho from the vehicle. And it's so pretty. So, I wound up having to do a voiceover for this video because I didn't mark my bins. And basically what happened is I have no clue what bin was what. And this particular bin I thought was the red wiggler bin, and I didn't realize that it was the bin that I have of the Louisiana swamp worms that I actually got from a lovely lady, the garden and worm lady. Um, she's wonderful. I love her. Uh, and so I have been trying to grow a large colony from the worms that I got from her, and I started out in a small bus bin, and there was enough in there that I could move them to a bigger bin to increase the colony size. And so I didn't realize, based on the fact that most of the bedding was already eaten, it was them and not the red wigglers. So I also didn't pay attention to the worm very well, clearly, when I was looking at it, because Louisiana swamp worms are darker in color and they're a little smaller in size. And yeah, I just totally bypassed that whole thing on that. And so yeah, this whole entire video, I messed up even on the next bit of it. But I figured I'll just voice over it and correct it. So this bin does not have much left. The week's time that I was gone, they ate through a lot of the new bedding, as you can clearly tell. There's not much left. Uh, these worms are high carbon eaters. They love carbon. So what I do is I don't really give them a lot of uh, kitchen scraps. They get carbon. Um, it's just their thing. No matter where I put them, they eat the carbon like crazy. So what I noticed with this bin is that it's a little drier than what I wanted it to be for a breeding setup, and I have to add liquid to it. It's more like how I generally try to keep Grandpa bin to where, I can harvest the castings really well. But that's not how these bins are meant to be, because they are strictly to try and build my colonies of this species in particular. I've got some of the species in with Grandpa bin, but I want to keep um, sets where it's just that particular species, nothing else. That way, later on, if somebody wants a particular type of worm, then I've got it. Um, because I would like to, sell these as I grow my colonies. I can't now because I don't have enough, but that's kind of my plan later, and that's why I want to keep them separate. And as you can tell, with any of my videos, I mix my bedding a lot, especially if I add liquid, because if I don't mix it well enough, then the liquid doesn't get incorporated enough, and then I'll end up with like dry pockets and stuff. So I tend to mix it up and crumple up the bedding, especially if a lot of it is, just mostly castings, especially because it just turns into like a mud clump, you know. And so I do that a lot, and I'm giving it the sniff test to make sure it smells okay, which I always do, generally do to my bins to make sure they smell okay. It kind of had a slightly different smell, but I think it's from when it was in that previous bin that went kind of weird. But thankfully I didn't lose any of the worms. But they look great. They're doing very well. Um, the colonies starting to get, a lot bigger. Now, as far as our trip went, my mother decided on a whim to take a road trip to Washington to see my grandpa for his 93rd birthday. Woohoo! 93 years old. And, we took a road trip, and my mother's vehicle, which my daughter had to drive because I can't see over the dashboard, um, being it's a big expedition. I've tried raising the seats and everything. I can't drive it. I can't reach the pedals, and I can't see over the dashboard. So my daughter had to drive. And the vehicle decided to not play nice. It started off where the battery was dead before we even left, so we had to charge it up and try to see if we could make it to AutoZone to replace the battery. The guy there said that it was toast. We had to get a new one, so we got a new battery. Road trip itself was nice. We stopped off in Spokane, Washington for the night because, even though it's an 8 hour, when you've got one person that's got a bad hip and a bad back, and then you got another, me that's got a bad back, we can't drive the whole way. So we take a pit stop in Spokane and then finish the rest of the trip. And it was nice, except for the prices. Gas was horrible. It was just not. It was not fun seeing that at all. It We used to live in that area, and the amount of people now, it's ridiculous. The traffic is so bad there. And then we filled it. We ended up having to fill up the car, and $124 later for 18 gallons was insane. And that wasn't even, there was still 10 gallons to go. And then, of course, the prices of food, and we had to go to Walmart for some needed items, and that was insane. You have to buy the paper bags now. You actually have to pay for paper bags. I mean, how nuts is that? They got rid of the plastic, they only do paper, and you have to pay for it. I love living in Montana. So that bin is done. We are moving on to
Look
the
at
next
those
one.
wigglers go.
They look great, Grandpa.
This one is the red wigglers that I pulled out of a grow out bin before I had purchased the other ones. So there's only a couple in this bin. Now this bin, for some deranged reason, it's a lot drier than what it should have been, because I did add quite a bit of liquid to this bin, and I don't understand why it was so dry. But you can tell they have eaten a good bit of it. Not a whole lot because there's not that many, but I mean, they ate a good chunk of it. And they look great. I don't remember them being that big when I put them in here. So they have fattened up really nicely. It is so dry. I can tell from here it's so dry. Especially up in that top left corner. Look at that worm. It's a chunky little thing. It's so chunky. And I'm looking at them to make sure they're doing okay. This one's my favorite worm though. Because, I mean, look at how fat that thing is. I couldn't get over the size of the clitellum though. It's massive. But yeah, they look great. Um, Other than, the bed being a little drier than what I really want it to be, especially for a breeder bin. And I added quite a bit of liquid to this bin too. And then mixed it up. I made sure I mixed it up really well since there were a lot of dry pockets. I accidentally flipped some off, and I thought there was a worm stuck between the table and the wall. So I was a little worried. I was like, oh no. But I added quite a bit of liquid. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it's quite a bit of liquid. And then again, I gotta mix it really, really well. But yeah, our trip was great. Other than the hiccup we also ran into where the car in front of us ran over something and it hit the front end of the car and the collision sensor went off constantly. And so now I'm adding some worm chow to them. But what happened was the item that hit the car knocked the sensor out of its spot. The sensor still worked. It was just sitting in the bumper well. And so we called the Ford dealership and they're like, well, you gotta, replace the whole entire bumper and then it's gotta be recalibrated and all this up. And, we're looking at like thousands of dollars to replace a whole entire bumper just for a sensor that got knocked out. And she goes, well, you have to take it to a body shop. So we went to a body shop and body shop guy basically said the same thing, and he's like, well, I don't even know if we can get to it. So my daughter got down on the ground, she reached her hand up there and pushed it back in. She goes, nope, you can get to it very easily. And I'm like, why not just JB weld it, right? And so he talked with somebody and came back and goes, well, we can do this and it'll be permanent, basically JB weld, like I said, because if not, we were going to go get some, super glue. I had to laugh at this because this newspaper was from 1991. They were my dad's old newspapers. So yeah, it was an interesting trip, but it was fun to see family. All we did was eat. I swear that's all we did was eat. And it was tiring, but it was fun. And then I forgot I didn't give the previous bin worm chow. So I went ahead and grabbed that bin and then gave them a good helping of worm chow since there are a bit of worms. And I keep it to one side so that, they can all come together, mingle, partay and do their thing, create those nice little cocoons. And also so it doesn't, heat up, then they're okay. So, okay guys, well, I will catch you on the flip side. This is an update on the couple bins that I did. And then you will be able to see the other ones in my next video. So we'll catch you later.
Thanks for hanging out with us today.
If you liked what you saw, be sure to drop us a thumbs up.
And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future adventures.